Hello and welcome, Goddess, to this month's Divine Masculine Energy Check-in for Twin Flame Tuesday. If you are new to my channel here at Empowerment Experiences, we are healing twin flames, healing our inner child, healing our inner masculine and our inner feminine, and creating that balance and calm and peace and union within ourselves. And that is what we use our Divine Masculine Energy Check-in for over here, is to look for and find where our own masculine energy may be out of sync or out of balance within ourselves. And those on the twin flame journey, this is always mirrored in your external counterpart when you believe that to be the case. And I'm saying this because everything in your reality is your mirror, not just one single person. Everybody, everything, the totality of your experience is your mirror. It is showing you either who you want to change from being or who you want to change into being, what you want to change about your life or what you want to keep in your life. Always. What you need to learn, what you need to teach others. When you start to allow yourself to see that bigger picture, or as I like to say, a more of a Pegasus perspective on this, which is our twin flame self-love empowerment journey, then you see it as exactly that. It is a self-love empowerment journey of you coming home within, of you experiencing that union within yourself, and then you can truly align yourself with experiencing an external physical union with someone, but it really ultimately is focused on that inner union. So come with me into the forest for more than the trees. Let's discover and embrace all this intuition sees. Together we shall come to know that which we need to reclaim our goddess power on this twin flame journey indeed. So welcome again, Goddess. We do things a little different around here because we recognize that we ourselves are the catalyst in our experience. We ourselves are our own points of attraction. We ourselves are creating our experience based on what we're focusing on, what we're feeding, what we're choosing to tell about our experience. Oof. Well, and we just had a whole jump out of cards. Right now, it's definitely about reclaiming your power. When you awaken to the understanding that ultimately this journey is about you reclaiming your power, it's not about you choosing someone outside of you and wanting them to choose you. Oh no, dear sweet Goddess, it is ultimately about you learning to and actually choosing you. And we've been talking about this for quite a while, and we will continue to, because it needs to be reiterated. You see, when we have these patterns, these beliefs, these stories that we've been taught and that we continue to tell, especially in this twin flame realm, and now more and more the truth is breaking through the noise of this ego attachment perpetuation that has been going in this twin flame realm. And twin flames, that which you have chosen to know yourself to be, because I still believe I am a twin flame, but that's ultimately the realization of going, wait a minute. Regardless of whomever may or may not externally be a counterpart, ultimately, it is my responsibility to bring into balance my own inner energies. And nobody else outside of me can do that. Because that power to do so, it's in you. I mean, you can certainly give your power away, and that's what we do. That's what so much has happened in this whole twin flame realm. That's what so much has happened in humanity as a whole. Your inner masculine, as well as I'm sure you can look at the masculines outside of you that you have connections with, you can see in them the struggle. That's the word that comes to mind. And I don't tend to use that word, but the struggle that it's in right now, the masculine energy of this push-pull, right? Of wanting to have control over the experience, but not realizing that that inner feminine requires surrender, requires shifting into more of a state of trust and flow. This is why it's so important that we be focusing on bringing these energies into balance within ourselves, because then we experience such a greater state of peace. And that's ultimately the change that we are shifting into. And it takes so much sacrifice, or so it seems, but it takes a lot of power. It takes a lot of personal power. It takes a lot of energetic power to create the change within yourself, to allow for the change in your outside world, to allow for the change in your inside world. But this is ultimately what we're doing, is we're recognizing our power to change. That rather than being in a space of refusing to change, again, that wanting to control, getting defensive, being protective, thinking that's where our power is, but being defensive from feedback that is ultimately the key to unlocking the blocks, to unlocking the prison that you yourself have put yourself in, right? Through your own inner masculine energy, and that as well the collective masculine energy has been in, right? Having to feel so much shame. And there's so much energy of shame right now, of feeling the shame of vulnerability and not being allowed to be vulnerable, without recognizing that actually it takes so much more strength to be vulnerable. But then it also takes so much strength to be strong and to be confident that everything is working out, regardless of what it may look like on the surface. This is ultimately again, anchoring back into your power, the power of trust, power of knowing, power of allowing yourself to connect with your truth within you, your power within you. There's so much of the word power right now that I can just say it over and over. Power. Just say the word, goddess. Power. The word itself is to remind you of the power that you have within you to create any change that you desire to create and experience in your journey. And that ultimately is that leader energy that both your feminine and masculine energies are being called to step up into. But in order to step into that, you've got to create those finite changes within you, from your mindset to your heart set, to what your habits are, your eating, your sleeping, how you truly genuinely love yourself. One thing I can say for sure that I see a lot in where the divine masculine energy is, where the masculine energy is from healing that wounded into expanding into and shifting into your true divinity, right? That you are, that trust, that connectedness with source. Source is playful. Look at nature. Look at how playful nature is. Look at how light and uplifting play itself is. And how there's so many things that there's like, it's like a movie screen that's playing through my mind so quickly, and to find the words to funnel all of it out at the same time is a challenge right now. But I'm seeing in my mind for instance, the masculines, those who have grounded into their divine masculinity as dads of daughters. They are so participatory and play, not just with their daughters, with their sons. They play. It's not about making them grow up so fast. It's not about saying, oh, you stop your crying. Oh, don't be a child. Rather, when we are truly balanced within ourselves, in our own energies, there isn't that shame that is separating us from our inner child's permission to play. Right? So this is what's happening right now. This is what we're changing right now. This is where we're able to see where our power is right now with what we're healing with both our inner masculine and in leading the way for the masculine energy collectively, is to heal this shame that is so rampant in just letting yourself be silly. Let yourself be a fool, as we would say. Laughter really, truly is the best medicine. So if you're feeling stressed and weighed down, or you're feeling powerless, just play. Let yourself have fun. In fact, today, as I've been recording this just a few days before it'll be published here, I even had Abraham talking about, it's supposed to be fun. And this has been something that's been screaming in my head because, maybe it's just PMS, and perimenopause and all that fun stuff, but there was just such an amplification in the past, 2 or 3 days of just feeling like life is supposed to be fun. Well, I'm not having fun, right? We have those days where we feel like, what? I think I got off on the wrong station kind of thing, right? Well, when we are obsessed with material things, when we are obsessed with what we perceive to be this massive weight of responsibility, where it's all about, I gotta make money and pay bills, make money and pay bills, make money and pay bills, you miss out on the entire meaning of life. The entire meaning of life. You're here truly, yes, to live the depth of your life, to allow yourself to experience the joy, to allow yourself to play and not just be so focused on responsibility. That being said, self-responsibility is definitely a major theme as of late. I did my Instagram live this last week, and that was exactly the message I was led to talk about, is more so focusing on responsibility for yourself, recognizing that you have to take responsibility for yourself and be responsible to yourself, meaning, are you being accountable to your power? Are you being accountable to the responsibility that you have for yourself to create these changes that you want to make in your life? Are you being responsible in the sense of not closing yourself off from all the things that you say you want, but because you are so hung up on controlling things, you're so afraid to surrender to the flow and just trust that you don't have to work so hard. That when you create these changes within your energetic being, when you raise that vibration and you allow yourself to recognize the power within you, you change. And this is why I'm seeing Joe Dispenza right now talking about this, right? When we change our core energetic frequency, everything changes. So when we can kind of take that step back and realize that there's a word, there's the slave driver. That's the word that came to mind, right? This part in you that's constantly telling you have to work, got bills to pay. That is a lack mentality. And therefore your signature vibration is lack. Your energetic frequency is lack. I don't have it. I'm without. I don't have enough. And so you're constantly chasing that which you don't have. That's this reflection as well, this mirroring of the twin flame runner chaser dynamic. When you reach this point in this twin flame journey and you finally start to go, oh my gosh, everything in that which we have placed these limiting labels and dynamics on in this whole twin flame realm, it's applicable to my entire experience. Holy wowzers. So you realize that the more you chase something, the more it runs. Right? Stop it. Whatever it is, stop it. And this goes for chasing the dollar. I get that. I totally get that. You know, things have gotten more expensive and they feel like, you know, things feel heavier. Believe me, goddess, I get that. But that's all the more reason to be taking that self-responsibility and unloading that burden. And by that I mean giving yourself, and this is where again we are healing this wounded masculine, giving yourself what you need. That is what it means to take responsibility for yourself, for your well-being, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. You've got to give yourself what you need. And it's been for so long, it's been so much focus on that this whole self-love space is for the girls. No, ultimately, unworthiness is a plague upon this planet. It is. And the more we each lift up and heal our own inner feminine and masculine energies and create this balance and this union within, the more we expand that love and energy out into the world rather than projecting it onto someone who's outside of us. Everything changes, sister, when you shift into where your power is, especially on this twin flame journey, and you realize that your power is not in him or with him, that your power is in you. Your power is with you. Your power is with you looking at your own inner masculine and asking for yourself, where is my power of surrender? Where is my power? First and foremost, where am I giving my power away? And you determine that by asking, when do I feel powerless? So where am I giving my power away? Okay, well, when do I feel powerless? What am I thinking about? What am I working on? Right, so we definitely have a thing about wanting to control things, don't we, sister? Right? That's not just, within us. That's the totality of our masculine energy, right? We want to take that responsibility, but from a space of wanting to have control over everything. But no, it's just this, there's so much clarification that we are breaking into with regards to what it means to truly be in your own power and have that responsibility for yourself and to yourself. So with that, again, we ask, where is our power of surrender in healing this space where we find our own divine masculine within ourselves and perchance within our counterpart, if that's so, which you desire to see for yourself, but as well in any masculines that are in our experience. You just saw how long I had to shuffle that deck, got us to get to this message that is just, again, affirming today's message. You cannot make this up. And I love this every time. I love this. So surrender to play. That's how we're healing the masculine right now, Goddess, is by you healing that inner masculine. And I see this in a very particular masculine in my life who hesitates to play. Hesitates to get on a swing. Has an inner child that sometimes comes out of his little hiding spot and into the world, but is still learning to realize that it's safe for him to come out and play. Because ultimately, and this is like, my mind is even trying, and you know how I feel. Those who follow me for a while, you know how I feel about the word try, but ultimately trying to step back into the world and experience all that this world has to offer and realize that this world is the all and everything, meaning this is part of it, that you need not be afraid, that the idea that we are unsafe is an illusion, because ultimately our souls are only here temporarily anyway. So when you really start to take, again, more of a Pegasus perspective on your experience, you get a whole other perspective on things. And that puts you in a far better, far more empowered position to look for and see where your power is. Right? And with that, we are going to pull an angel number, since it's been a little quiet here. Boom, shakalaka. 311. Let us see what we have. 311 says, matters of the heart. Again, remember, Goddess, ultimately on this twin flame journey, why you are chasing an external masculine is because of the love that you desire to experience. But ultimately, that love has to begin within you. And that's why this twin flame journey really is ultimately about you coming home to union within you, right? You filling that gap. Because that's the other thing too, is that there is no one person that's going to do it all. So this has to do with matters of the heart, your heart. Putting those two parts of you back together, healing that, your inner feminine and your inner masculine. Fulfillment of your heart's desires brings satisfaction and happiness, is it not? The fulfillment of a child's heart's desires, but to play and have fun and experience and explore and discover wonderment and awe. Just have fun. Just, again, to experience for the sake of experiencing. That therein lies the joy. Therein lies the play, the playfulness of the play, the joy of it all. Use discernment to keep your emotions from overwhelming you. Now I can say too, again, as I mentioned already, I know my emotions have been definitely a little extra lately, thanks to, our wonderful monthly visitors we get, right, ladies? And but that's the key, is when you're aware of what the underlying amplifier is, shall we say, then that's you being in your power. Awareness. When you shift into awareness of a habit, a cycle, a pattern, anything that allows you to make the change that you need to make from one space into another, you cannot change that which you're unaware. And the moment you become aware of something, you take back the largest chunk of your power you can in one fell swoop. Because then it's no longer running on autopilot. It's no longer hiding from you. It's out in the open and you can see that. Right? And that in turn is the thing that empowers you to go, okay, I see what's going on and I'm going to kind of separate myself for a moment from the world and get a grip. Right? And again, allow yourself to realize that you promise yourself a better future by focusing on it. That's 3112, right? And so by separating yourself from that which is challenging you for a moment, so you can again take a step back, have a different perspective on things. This is where your power is, right? Goddess is to have again more of a Pegasus perspective on things, because there's from the ground, you're in the mix, or you can rise above up into the sky, right? And have a much more encompassing perspective, at least a different perspective than what you've had. So empower yourself through this Pegasus perspective space by allowing yourself to remember that everything is temporary. Okay? Everything is temporary. And that any illusion of unsafe or bad or anything, it's all temporary. Right? We are all just passing through. 311 speaks on the expansion in your mind and your life. That as you reclaim more and more of your power, think about it, Goddess. You automatically are changing and you automatically are expanding. You're expanding your wisdom, your knowledge, your understanding, your experience. You are expanding you. So do not limit yourself to small dreams and trivial matters. That's what 311 makes sure to also tell us. Do not limit yourself to small dreams and trivial matters. Start to, again, allow yourself to see what you do have power over. And so often you can find and see that you're giving power away to something that's really undeserving of your attention, of your focus, of your energy. Stop telling the story that doesn't feel good. Stop reiterating the things that are holding you back or weighing you down or seemingly crumbling and falling away. Stop holding yourself back. That's ultimately 311. Stop letting your own fears, your own imagination be the thing that keeps you from your manifestation. And that, again, is especially on this twin flame journey, if you are holding yourself back, attached to this one person, but yet longing for and desiring this one person to finally turn around and choose you while you chase, and you don't see your worth, you don't own the value of you, then they'll not choose you until you choose you, Goddess. That's the key. Is when you choose you, you don't care that that other one isn't choosing you. Because you choose you, and that ultimately is what matters. You realize that you are worthy of all the amazing that you want, but you've got to be the one to shift into that. And that is this, ultimately this merging of this inner masculine and feminine, is to realize that you are already whole and complete within you, and that therefore you are the only one that can step into this state of union, this harmonious union that is ultimately where your power is. To stop giving it away to someone outside of you. To stop choosing them and to finally choose you. Choose you by letting yourself experience so much more of what this life has to offer. Because that power to do so, Goddess, that power, it is in your hands. Because that power has always been inside you. And it's time that we realize that. So if you are looking for support in realizing that your power is within you and how to look for and find it, regardless of what you're experiencing in your journey, come join the Rise and Thrive Goddess Tribe. You can learn more about it on my website at empowermentexperiences.com. And be sure to like this video, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can get all the twin flame empowerment, self-love empowerment, and soon to come entrepreneurial empowerment as well, so that you can be breaking free of the twin flame trap and rising and thriving into your twin flame mission. Because ultimately, again, Goddess, it's about you and what you're here to be and do and impart upon the world. You. Remember, Goddess, that power, it's in your hands. Because that power has always been inside you. Namaste.